publicly known. And like us with PSG, man, these lot are mad managers, man. Boy, do we really need to keep talking about Gyokeres? Do we really need to keep talking about Gyokeres? Whether he's going to be a success at Arsenal, I don't think you're scoring bare goals like this, but I think you can get 20 in the league. The guy's ridiculous. He scored a hat-trick yesterday for Sporting, as you can see with the Romano tweet. He's got 51 goals in 48 games. Even if you just get 20 for it, half of that. Ridiculous. He got 4 goals. He's even paying tribute to Osimhen, so we need this guy. Adam Wharton is Arsenal's perfect Thomas Partey replacement. According to reports, Partey would be willing to negotiate a new contract on improved terms, a midfielder who is already among the top earners at the Emirates. And instead of investing those funds in an aging player, Arsenal could be much better off turning their attention to Crystal Palace's Adam Wharton. What do you lot make of that? Me, I'm having him. I've been speaking. Yeah, he did score 4. He did score 4. That's why I said the Osimhen reference. These are the man you need to sign at Blackburn, because Crystal Palace clearly don't want to sell him. They know they're going to make money. Obviously, on paper, fair enough, I'm not a Crystal Palace fan, but Mitchell's probably leaving. Gurhi's probably gone this summer. Eze is a technical one. You know, he feels like you never quite know. It's a World Cup year. Maybe he wants to make the step up. Don't know. So why would you want Wharton to go? And also, you can't tell Crystal Palace Adam Wharton's not worth 100 million, because football's gone crazy anyways. They don't want to sell him anyway, so you have to pay an inconvenience fee, and he's only going to get better. I wouldn't say he's a destroyer or ball-winning midfielder, but he's got elements of that. He's very cultured on the ball. He's got this weird kind of, in a nice way, he plays at one pace. I'm a big fan of Adam Wharton, and he played very well in the semi-finals in the FA Cup. Would love him at the football club. Him, Rice in the mix would be great, but I just can't see it happening, especially this summer. And at 21, the world's at his feet. We know we need 2 midfielders. We're still linked with Zubimendi. Depending on where you read, you know, you probably see rumors of Real Madrid hijack. Then you hear Arsenal have confidence that it's all but done. Until we see people holding shirts, who knows? I would love Zubimendi. A double deal would be expensive for Arsenal. Wharton might cost around 70 million, but Burr is thought to have a substantial budget to work with this summer. 70 million, I'm on that. Get a couple of players off the books. Oh, I don't know, Palace. You've done business with us, man. You know, you've bought some good players from us. You've bought Eddie Nketiah. You saw his innovative ways where he tried to score a bicycle kick in our draw. You bought Matt Turner. You bought Rob Holding. We've got some good players for you here, man. Reece Nelson. I don't understand why Reece Nelson doesn't play ahead of Bukayo Saka. He's got unique qualities. What do you lot say? We'll give you 50 million. Call Nelson 20-odd million quid. We could throw in a Sambi Lokonga. I swear you lot had him on loan. He's been in Spain. He played better. We could put Reece Nelson and Lokonga 20 million a pop. That drives that down. Give you 40 million. We keep it moving. It'd be lovely to have him, but some of those funds will be needed to sign a striker, but Arsenal might be able to sign Gyokeres for a reasonable sum, a cheaper alternative to Isak at Newcastle. Of course, there is also a prospect of Real Madrid winning the race for Martin Zubimendi, in which case Arsenal should definitely chase a deal for Wharton. So World Cup year. Sometimes leaving can boost your chances. Sometimes if he goes somewhere else, struggles a bit, doesn't play, you don't get in the squad. If you stay at Crystal Palace, you know you're playing a lot of football. Once again, Arsenal and Bayern to inquire about Christopher Nkunku as France winger sets sights on Chelsea exit. He's set to leave Maresca's Blues as early as this summer. According to RMC Sports Fabrice Hawkins, the French international joined the Premier League club from RB Leipzig 2 years ago in a 60 million deal, but the transfer looks to have benefited no one. Nkunku currently plays a peripheral role in Maresca's setup in the sophomore season at Stamford Bridge. What does sophomore mean? Is that like your first year? Is that like year 7 in America? Even if the former PSG Academy product currently leads Chelsea's goal scoring charts with 14 goals, like Cole Palmer. To be fair, obviously Conference League hype, but if I was a top goal scorer and I'm on the bench, I'd be vexed as well. RNC understands Nkunku does not particularly feel at ease at Chelsea, where he feels his creative qualities could be better highlighted. The 27-year-old has practically never played in his preferred position in the center of the pitch. A point of no return has seriously been reached between Chelsea and Nkunku. As for his future destination, RMC adds that Arsenal and Bayern have previously inquired about his availability in the winter transfer window. Both clubs are expected to knock on Chelsea's door this summer, and Nkunku reportedly intends to join a club that regularly plays in the Champions League. We've been linked with Juventus's Yildiz. They've also been linked with Tavares, by the way. And, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if Lazio confirmed their buy obligation to buy for Tavares, obviously selling for a profit because Juventus are quite stupid. They let that Hodgson guy go to Bournemouth for peanuts, and we all know how much he's worth now. They spent 20 million on Lloyd Kelly. Newcastle could believe their eyes. That's greatly probably helped them with PSR. But as per a report from Court of Side. Arsenal are in the race for Yildiz, who is also a target for London rivals Chelsea, as well as Liverpool and Manchester City. Fabrizio Romano exclusively in his newsletter that United were also among the names with the forward. Juventus are expected to ask for a fee in the region of 100 million euros, 86 million. That rules us out for the superstar Bayern Munich academy grad, who is impressed in Serie A with his performances, registering 8 goals and 4 assists. He's a baller, man. He can play on the left side, can play on either flank, could play as 10. I said this yesterday, but Arda Güler, who done well in his little minutes for Real Madrid, which he rarely gets, is the golden boy of Turkish football. And I think, had Yildiz have been from a next country or Arda Güler doesn't exist, I think he'd get a lot more hype. Not that Turkish fans are not hyping him. They're both ballers. He's versatile. He's young. He's obviously a good player. It makes sense for me. I'm a big fan of his. It's just going to cost stupid money. Don't see it happening. Again, if this would be kind enough to load, I think there was something about Partey there. Thomas Partey still linked with a return to Atletico Madrid and Barcelona, people. And you could also add PSG and Juventus allegedly in the list of suitors. We have seen David Ornstein and Romano come out and say we've got a willingness to commit Partey to a new deal, but seeing is believing. And at this moment in time, he's not here. Is there anything new here? Big up you lot, man. At this point, any striker we bring in is going to score. Marino has shown us this already. I hear that because people do too much. Low block, like, how are they going to do it on the transitions and in the low blocks, and we're not going to get chances. And don't get twisted. I have said, I think you're very naive if you just focus on the attackers, not the other signings. If you have Bukayo Saka, Gyokeres, Nico Williams, we're now great in attacking sense. There's much Arteta needs to arrest from a tactical front. But then at the same time, brother, if them man, with all of this, if Kai's found ways to score goals, if this one's found ways to score goals, bro, man can score goals, bro. Like at the end of the day, as complicated it is, sometimes people overcomplicate this football thing. It's so simple, it's complicated. It's so complicated, it's simple. Life is a contradiction and football's no different. And many people won't understand that. A lot of you casual viewers hit the subscribe button, won't understand that. But for my football purists and fans of the game second, my regular viewers, you know exactly what I refer to. Arsenal should definitely buy Osimhen. I would love Osimhen. I just think with Osimhen, I think a couple of things with Osimhen, to be fair with you. I think where it comes to Osimhen, I think it's one of those, like, if we were working in the world of football for whatever club, we'd understand why, because he's a bloody good player. No clue why no one's taking a chance. But there's got to be, quote unquote, there's got to be something wrong with him. He's clearly a good forward, but everybody, Chelsea, Man United, history of making terrible decisions. Chelsea, more money than sense. Arsenal dying for a striker. This lad felt like one of the strikers that was going to move. Like Napoli clearly were on selling. It's different, but it's a bit like Ivan Toney in that, more so Ivan Toney in that you got a player who's obviously Premier League proven, obviously good. Obviously, a lot of the teams at the time of when Ivan Toney went to Saudi needed a forward, and no one really went for him, and then you ended up there. I'm not boying the Turkish league, but how you go from everybody wanting you to links with Saudi and then being in Turkey? Is there something wrong with Osimhen's character? Is there some underlying injury issues? Is there, some tactical worries? Is it purely finances? They don't feel the transfer fee, the wages, the length of the contract, the agent commission, all those things are worth it. I don't know, man. Newcastle United, Man United, Spurs, West Ham, Chelsea, Liverpool allegedly are all interested in signing Jonathan David as a free agent, but Marseille are hoping to persuade the player to stay in France. I only mention that because every now and again we are linked with Jonathan David. Manchester City are expecting to move for Italy fullback Andrea Cambiasso, with Juventus turning their attention to Arsenal's Nuno Tavares, who is currently on loan at Lazio. So Lazio are going to get him for the cheap, sell him on. Now, I'm not crying because we need Tavares to go on, but maybe sometimes putting players in the right loans can obviously upgrade their market. And I think we clearly need to do better as a club selling, not necessarily in relation to Tavares, just generally. We were once upon a time linked with Gyokeres. He's drawing interest from Real Madrid. One weak area for Real Madrid in which Saka displayed how weak it really is probably left back. Man United are ready to pay 64 million release clause in Osimhen's contract at Napoli. They want to pair him with Cunha next year. That'd be good. And I don't know why we're not on to Cunha anymore, but we're not, people. There's been some silly links this season anyways, people. We've gone over the Saliba comments, so what's the point? Man United are pushing to beat Arsenal to the signing of Garcia, but the belief is that the Espanyol goalkeeper will opt to the Gunners instead. Why though? Because obviously two big clubs, obviously at two very different destinations, but I know but it's still Man United. And if I'm just looking at it as I can get a good contract, I can move to one of the bigger clubs in England, I can do all those things. And then I look beyond that. You've got David Raya, who's one of the best goalies in the world. I'm not saying he's the best, but one of the best goalies in the world. Onana, who can't catch a damn thing, probably couldn't catch an STI at this moment in time. I'm just being silly, and I wouldn't advocate that. I've never got that. Gaddy, shout me, I'm clean. But you're nailed on to play there, bro. Like, you could rob him for that spot immediately, and he's linked with moves from Saudi. I'll be interested to see, man. Arteta has a track record with, keepers have a quote unquote short shelf life. And I hear it, if he's going to be the number 2 and he's going to press and do all those things, great. But how long is he going to want to be like that? This is someone that is really in the last 2 seasons getting regular football, spoken about as being a Spanish international one day. How long before he's going to have to decide, yo, David Raya or Garcia, one of you is my number 1? Or maybe he will come true on those claims about I'll rotate goalies and that. Personally, I'm not on that. If I'm honest with you, I don't believe in that. If we do it and it works, great. But come on, man, don't make no sense, in my opinion. But yeah, man, if it all goes to plan and we want Garcia and Zubamendi and Nico Williams and Gyokeres and, Partey new deal, I hope everything goes to plan in the summer. I think personally it needs to, if I'm honest with you. Arsenal are interested in signing the Espanyol goalkeeper Garcia at the end of the season. A 23-year-old has established himself as one of the best keepers in La Liga. Multiple clubs are keen to sign him. Man United, Manchester City, and there's rumours about Edison and Ortega leaving, so the number 1 vacancy might open up. Arsenal could use a quality backup goalkeeper. The 23-year-old could compete with Raya for the starting spot. He's been outstanding in Liga, and he has the quality to establish himself as a key player in the Premier League as well. He could be the ideal long-term replacement for Raya at the London club. His arrival could sort out their goalkeeping department for the foreseeable future. The player has a 25 million release clause in his contract, which could rise to 30 million if the transfer is not completed before the last 15 days of the transfer window. Arsenal certainly have the financial muscle to get the deal done, and they should look to complete the deal quickly. So yeah, Man United and City. And you also throw in Leverkusen, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich. Give or take, Courtois' days are coming to an end, as are the keeper at Bayern, and even Oblak as well, to agree. But he's linked with a lot of clubs that have a number 1. I'm sure even Atletico are on this, buying him and loading him back. Now, if Espanyol get relegated, he's got a relegation release clause, which is substantially lower. Appreciate you. Have a blessed week, my people. Then please don't forget to smash the like button and get your thoughts in. So that's Garcia. We've definitely gone over this, Donny, already. I'm a big fan of Brahim Diaz, and I remember when the game was done at the Bernabeu, Arteta did this. I don't know what that means. It's a bit like the Copa del Rey final. Carlos got a lot of speculation. When it was done, Carlo and Rafinha were doing this, and you lot know I believe Brazil are winning the 2026 World Cup, and Carlos being linked to such. I'm on the Diaz thing. If it's made, but I think with Diaz, he's one of those. Like, obviously, he's a good player. Like, he's made himself a kind of like, he's a rotationary kind of guy. When you look past the top attackers they've got, he could do something. I mean, I remember a few years ago when he was still in City's under 21s, he blew Arsenal out the park at the Emirates Stadium. I think it was this. We still had Joe and Chris Willett. They started together, or they played together. Real Madrid are willing to sell Brahim Diaz this summer after watching him fall down the pecking order. I'm on that. I'm on signing him today. I think he's a baller. I would be more than happy with Diaz, especially if Nico Williams keeps acting up, man. We've gone over the Liverpool stuff, but allegedly Liverpool, Man United, and Arsenal are all in the race to sign Ollie Watkins, and they're all good destinations for him. Man United are apparently interested in Mateta. Would you like to have Mateta? I don't think he'll leave Crystal Palace, but he's strong. Glasner has changed his life. His general play as well. Like, some of the picking up the ball in the channels and driving with it was absolutely superb in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Apparently, Arteta wants to sign 2 forwards in the summer transfer window in a bid to get the Gunners over the line in the title race, which I'm all for. Allegedly, Chelsea are ready to allow Nico Williams to sign for Arsenal, but are instead chasing their priority target on the left wing. Nico Williams is one of the most wanted players as the summer approaches, with a tempting 58 million euros release clause, fueling speculation that the Spanish international winger could be on the move. Chelsea and Arsenal are among the clubs who have pursued a deal for the 22-year-old, while rumours that Barcelona could reignite a move have quieted due to the electric form of Ballon d'Or candidate Rafinha. But now the Stamford Bridge club are ready to prioritise another option in the same area of the park, according to TBR Football. Gittins of Dortmund has moved ahead of Nico Williams on the shortlist of Chelsea, who seem prepared to chance the Bilbao-based star going to rivals Arsenal instead. Maresca's side have been told there's a real possibility of them signing Gittins. Fair enough, you lot do your thing, but there's still going to be a whole host of clubs interested in Nico Williams. And to be honest with you, I don't know what's going on, and I'm not saying this to do with Nico Williams, but there's got to be a cutoff point, man. I don't know if it gets to June the 1st, for example, and Zubimendi's still moving sideways and Nico Williams is moving sideways. Pardon my language, we have to say fuck him and try something else, man. That's without me obviously working in football and knowing all the variables and all of that kind of stuff. But at some point, we're going to have to show an ability to pivot. Is there anything else? Arsenal favourites to win the Champions League. Shut out, man. Like 1 minute we've been favourites. I hate all these statistic stuff. You look at our statistics of winning the Champions League before the Real Madrid game to now. It tells you football's not won on paper. Wait, what? Calafiori's on his trying to move like Lomberg. Ricardo Calafiori is Adidas' first ever underwear ambassador. I mean, get your money. I don't know if I want to scroll down. Thank the Lord. Yeah, we're not even going to stay here. Calafiori, big up you, man. Just get back fit. Big up you. I don't even want to spend time on that. Shout you, get your money, man. Get your money. According to statistics website, Opta analyst, Arsenal are now the favourites to win the Champions League. The Opta supercomputer gives Arsenal a 31.3 chance of winning the competition, which puts them above Barcelona's 27.4%, PSG's 22%, Inter Milan's 19.2%. These are nasty. I know Inter Milan have looked a bit shaky in Serie A recently, but they're still a big good side. They're probably a bit more, I'd say they're more offensive in the domestic league than they are in the champs. PSG with a proven winner in Enrique. Barcelona with Hansi Flick, what they've got going on. How are we the favourites? Everybody's equal favourites, man. Semi-finals, everybody's got reasons. We put out a statement with knocking out Real Madrid. PSG are cold. Barca are cold. Inter are cold. I'm not sure what's going on there. They're trying to do us dirty there, people, but it is what it is in that regards, man. Adidas trying to sell us his pack, bro. Big, listen, if that's your thing, do your thing in it. But I just care about what you're doing with a football in it. Like, yeah, if it was Shensia selling lingerie, I might read the article or therefore try to scroll down. Yeah, but Calafiori, you are one of the players that the women seem to fancy in our team. I'd say you, Saliba, and Mikel Arteta. Actually, people, they don't really show love to Saka like that. But yeah, man, Calafiori, you do your thing. That is not for me. I don't want to know. Do you know how scared I was when I was scrolling down? I was like, shall I do it? Shall I do it? If it could go left, it could go left. I don't want to see him wearing them WWE pants and your crutches everywhere on my screen. You should big up you for getting your money. I'm never going to diss someone getting their money. And even the Adidas advert. Have you not seen the one, I think come out today? Ian Wright, Miles Lewis Skelly, shout out 49, Lewis Skelly. Hey, that is wavy, man. But have you seen the Adidas advert where it's got Ian Wright, Timber, Martinelli, Miles Lewis Skelly? Is quite good, man. Shout Ian Wright. Careful, Ian Wright doing adverts for Adidas. You know, Luca's gonna say you're stealing it from others. That man said Adidas trying to tell us he's pants. I just clocked it. Oh, you're a horrible youth, man. He's not pants, man. He's like an Italian ball in a China shop, man. In many ways, he's like a typical Italian footballer or defender. He's very gracious and, you know, he's on dying over his dead body to defend. But in many ways, he's not. He's a bit like a Jurgen Klopp player, like you're heavy metal, really, if that makes sense. Like that's what I see when I see Calafiori. I actually see. Whenever I see Martinelli, I always think that is a Jurgen Klopp player, and I ain't got them. But Mohamed Salah was speaking, and he was speaking about how like Slot says, kind of forget the defending, go do your thing up there. And it just made me feel, I wish I had the comments to hand, but it just made me feel, is there food for thought potentially for Mikel Arteta? Like, I'm not saying, Saka has no defensive duties. We need that. And the defensive, it comes at a cost. Us being able to defend better as a team, even though I don't feel we've defended to our high standards this season, it's probably why we did, on top of everything else, why we did very well at Real Madrid. But then I also think to myself, how much more goals could Saka get if you say ladder? Stay up there, hit them, transitions. I don't know. But then again, if that's going to be the case, I think Salah kind of said it. Like the gaffer kind of said, all right, I'll allow you with the defending, but you better deliver in the final third. I think that's a fair trade-off. If you don't deliver, then that's something else. And evidently Salah has. Have PSG been a little fortunate and not as great as people are making them out to be? Villa should have beat them, and they beat the pool team that was going through a drop in form. To be fair, I think that's a bit disingenuous because when we beat PSG, they were a worse side than they are now. Liverpool, they should have beat Liverpool at their place, man, if I'm honest. So I think you're right. But they battered them and they can't be held accountable for that. Villa showed their naiveties. And I think the only thing that cost PSG was themselves. As we saw earlier with Dembele and Enrique, there was an element of complacency. PSG will give us chances. We need to be able to take them. I do think we can beat them. I do think we can match against them. I do feel a lot easier about the prospect of playing PSG than a Real Madrid, but it's still a great team with a fantastic bunch of individuals and a fantastic manager. Everybody's here for a reason, because I don't agree with it. People were saying, what were people telling us before the first leg kicked off against Real Madrid? Oh, it's Real Madrid. Arsenal ain't got the strongest team. Boom, 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 boom. Going into the second leg, what were they saying? Oh, yes, 3-0. Remontada, Rotonda, as I call it. All these things are going to happen. Real Madrid, now sour grapes. Oh, it's the worst Real Madrid ever. That's cool. If you think that's the worst Real Madrid side, I'm not going to debate you. But if a poor Real Madrid side can still put out Champions League winners and serious top class, world class players. In fact, I can't even call them that because I didn't see anybody kick a ball really and truly. It's nice to, they're still crying as well, and you're seeing all the nonsense that's the fall off. If they can still put out there Rodrigo, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius, Tchouameni, across the two legs, Camavinga, Courtois, Alaba, Rudiger, this one, that one, shut the hell up. And if that's the poorest side, one thing I liked about it beyond the obvious, have you looked at our team? Which is normally the case of Arsenal and football. So more time, our greatest performances across the season, they've not necessarily been done with our best team. Look at Man City 5-1. Look at this one. We've got Kirill there. Lewis Skelly's been playing football at first team level for 8-9 months. You got no striker, not to be disingenuous to Marino, but he's not a forward, quote unquote. So they can't talk nonsense. So yeah, man, you just got to go out there and earn the right to win it. I think we're bad news for European sides. I don't think people relish playing us. That's not me gassing up the team. I just think we're a good side, good manager, doing what we can. We've got a chance, but we've got to go and do it, man. I'm not looking forward to the game in France. I personally think that's where it's decided. I need at least a 2-0 here tomorrow. We'll have to see, man. But everyone's earned their right to be here. All these fraudsters watching in the shadows, hit the likes, please. Power to the chat. Love Arsenal, hate the ops. That's our energy going into this week. At this point, sorry, got over that already. Loss of Partey going to be big for PSG, big for us, mate. Yeah, bro. I would have loved, not even just him, Jorginho, Marino. For me, who the hell is going in midfield? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? They're knocking us off our perch. Ineos, you must. Duke, I hear you, yeah, but I must admit, that is one thing that pees me off with the Sky Sportsies and all these things. We've got Gary Neville. Liverpool have won the league, bro, and he's out here. Oh, my God. They've knocked us up. They got more European trophies. They got this, my club. For me, one of my biggest pet peeves is what club is bigger than this club and that club. Like, I don't really care, because some of the clubs that have won the most things are not necessarily the most followed clubs around the world. And if we're going to do that, you're only a big club if you win the Champions League thing. My club has never won it. Others have. Come on now. Like, we ain't won a league in 20 odd years. We ain't ever won a Champions League. All we do is control the internet. Everybody talks about us. I promise and I guarantee if Arsenal ever win the Champions League or the Premier League again, we're locking off all of London. Chelsea are not doing that. Spurs are not doing that. Like, we're locking it all off. Do you know how many Arsenal fans, and probably some of you that don't even support Arsenal, you're going to treat it as carnival and roll anyways. But we're getting off topic. I find it very secondary schooly. Like, my dad will beat up yours. My brother's stronger than your brother. It's like, bro, pause on all of this, but it's if I was a geezer, like, stop trying to tell me your cock's the biggest in the room. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I see that big club stuff. It's childish, man. And it's childish, man. I do find punditry in this day and age irritating, bro. Czech, Luiz, William, Havertz, on my life, I forgot about a couple of them. Jorginho, now Nkunku. Sick of all them unwanted / past it. We are not Chelsea's retirement home. I hear that. Some fans feel a lot stronger than you, because this wouldn't happen, yeah. But where's Boy? Boy somewhere. One of the moderators, he said, such as the trauma, pardon me, he did, if for some made-up world that we were able to get Cole Palmer or Caicedo, he would say no. I think that's bugging. But yeah, they've never sold us a good player, man. But we're zanging ourselves, though. We keep bumping ourselves. Just a little Britain thing. Oh, he's gorgeous. You can see the numbers now. I don't have to defend much. The tactics are quite different. I said, as long as you rest me defensively, I'll provide offensively. So I'm glad that I did. When you play in the Premier League, you have to defend. But I said that I can gamble, and somehow I can make the difference. My number of assists show that you can create chances as well. Attack is a form of defense. Big up yourself, EAA, man, because that's the comments I'm talking about in relation to Saka. So maybe it's food for thought. Nico Williams is not even that great. I hear that, but do you have to be great? Or do we just need someone that's an improvement on what we have? Prime example was the Bournemouth game in February. Slot said after the game he asked Gravenberch to help Trent deal with Kirkes and Semenyo, and Salah scored on the transition. And I think we can, with the likes of Rice's and these guys in Partey as a 6, and just us having a back three anyways, I do think we could gamble a bit more in that regards. Now, the gambling thing comes at a cost. Obviously, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. More time you lose in the bookies than you win. But I do think that. I do think we need to. I think we need to reset our good defensive standards. But I do think we need to take the handbrake off, man. Is the Prem the best league in Europe right now in terms of actual quality teams? How do you quantify it though, Arthur? Because I think we've got the strongest case. But then if you was to get, I don't know, the 5 best British teams against the 5 best Spanish, Italians, or whatever, and play X amount of games, would England win this made up trophy? I don't know. I actually think so. But then you could look and say, what, Liverpool have wrapped up the title. I know PSG wrapped up a long time ago, but they wrapped up the title with 3-4 games to spare. And that's even being kind to Arsenal because it's been wrapped up a long time ago. 80 odd points, if that. Probably, It's a good question. But then I look at the title race in Italy, and I'd say the top 5-6 teams in Italy. I don't know, I don't know. Real Spain, sorry, probably. Oh, Arthur, that's a good question, man. I'm actually going to sit down and think about that when this stream's done. That's a very good question, and one that I can't give you. How do you quantify it though? Because there's a reality where not that anyone counts the Conference League, but a British team could win the Conference League. I hope it's not the case, but the Europa League, I definitely hope it's the case where it's the Champions League. And then if you're holding on to all of that, then what can you really say? Bloody good question. Bloody good question. Is anything Arsenal related? What's going on here? See, this is who I want, man. I told, man, this is one of the guys that I want to sign. Oh, okay. We got some more. We got some more transfer news, folks. We got some more transfer news. This one's not really relevant, quote unquote, for us, but you lot know I think there's a couple of players to take chances on in France at a bunch of clubs. Ryan Cherki at Lyon and Malik Fofana. There's a bunch of them at Strasbourg. Monaco got a couple as well. Elise Ben Sihir, I can't pronounce names, forgive me, could leave Monaco amid Liverpool and Man City interest. You don't know, I've been waffling about this 20-year-old who did have his breakthrough in the 2022-23 season. He did last year, was, summed up with injuries and whatnot. While he's played some part in the 30 of Monaco's 31 League R games this season, he's often been used as a substitute in recent times. I mean, if you're going to struggle there for game time, where are you going to go? His lack of game time, and in particular the decision not to play him at all against Nice last month, is the source of frustration for the forward, who doesn't feel sufficiently considered by his manager. His decision not to celebrate during the derby, blah, blah. Liverpool, City, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen have all made inquiries. The plan for Monaco was not to sell him this summer, with Magnus Aluche instead expected to leave. Another one, both of them is ones that Arsenal should take chances on. However, an exit cannot be ruled out for the forward, whose contract runs until 2030 and whose value is estimated currently between 30 million. Smash the like button if you haven't. That is a man I would love at the carpet, people, if I'm brutally honest with you. If we move this as well. Arsenal tell Real Madrid that they're practically finalized signing. Blow to Los Blancos plans. Beat them on and off the football field. You know my team. They're 4 points behind Barca. Where is the actual relevance to Arsenal Football Club? I mean, this Spanish report published a report on how Real Madrid are facing difficulties ahead of the transfer window, with a move to the club not seen as quite as attractive as it once was. That's largely due to money and others offering good deals. I mean, if you want money, you can get more at other clubs than Real Madrid, but you can should never utter a sentence about Real Madrid never being attractive. Up until recently, the treble was on. You wouldn't think they're currently the holders of the Champions League. It's absolute nonsense, if I'm honest. Yes, Carlo might probably leave. There probably needs to be a bit of rejigging tactically and on the technical front with their players. But how you can fix your lips, pause, or your brain early in the morning to make this article, it just shows talentless people always end up in good jobs, people. So keep pushing for your goals. Monday motivation. One example pushed forward is Real Madrid's Martin Zubimendi. There had been confidence in Madrid that if Los Blancos truly wanted him, he'd ditch a plan to join Arsenal and pick them up instead. However, now the white flag is being gently raised, and it's even claimed that ahead of the Champions League match between Arsenal and Real Madrid, at the traditional lunch between directors, the Gunners told the Spanish they've practically finalized Zubimendi's arrival. Unless it was signed, dotted, and delivered. Why on God's green earth would you tell them that? I don't know if I believe that, because it's like Real Madrid telling us their transfer plans. Unless we're doing some bragging thing or something like that, it don't make sense. Why? Like, why would you tell them that? It sounds good, and I hope it's right, because it makes us look wavy on and off the field. But really, 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 what relevance does it have? Fair enough. If you can find out a relevance to that, then let me know. Don't appear that there's anything new there. I mean, this seems to keep happening. There's a couple of things actually. Apparently, Porto are now incapable of qualifying for the Champions League. I wonder what that means for Fabio Vieira. Arsenal reportedly keen on securing the services of Leicester midfielder Bilal El Khannouss. The 20-year-old midfielder has done well. According to reports in Spain, Arsenal are looking to sign the talented young Moroccan midfielder, and he could cost around 30 million euros. Can't we do a little cheeky loan with a buy option because they just got relegated? I think he's versatile. I think he's a good squad player. Wouldn't say no. Arsenal reportedly prepared to submit an offer for the midfielder, and negotiations are ongoing between the two clubs. The 20-year-old midfielder is likely to be attracted to the idea of joining Arsenal this summer. They are among the biggest clubs in the country, and they could provide him with the platform to fight for trophies. The 20-year-old is too good for the Championship, and he will not want to head to the second division of English football with the Foxes. Meanwhile, Leicester are likely to be tempted if a 30 million offer is submitted. Arsenal will certainly have the finances to get the deal across the line. It remains to be seen whether they can get the deal done. The reported asking price could prove to be a bargain for a player of his potential, and he would be useful, man. We do need to add more quality and depth in the middle of the park. The talented young midfielder will add technical ability, craft, and composure to the side. Arsenal have done well to groom young talents in recent years, and they could play a key role in his development of Khannouss. Regular football at a high level could help the youngster improve further and fulfill his tremendous potential. The Moroccan is capable of operating as a central attacking midfielder, central midfielder, or as a wide player. He has 3 goals and 5 assists to his name this season, and he could be useful at 20 years of age. There's a lot of upside there. There's another club throwing their hat